Yeah. So there's so much research and science when it comes to gratitude, including, and I don't remember the exact numbers of this, but I wrote about it in my website and connected it to a study. But I don't have the exact numbers. So don't quote me on these numbers. But it was something like there was a group of the controlled group were depressed. And they had them list out, and here's why I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like list out 8 things that they were grateful for each day. And the key was it had to be 8 different things every day. It couldn't be the same 8 things every day. It was 8 different things every day. And by the end of 12 weeks, most of them were no longer depressed without the use of any medication. And it was through a form of gratitude. And so, gratitude is also a step towards happiness. And in fact, is one of the first steps towards happiness. It's like the gateway towards happiness is gratitude. So I do often recommend the same thing that you just mentioned, which is at the start of your day to list out, and I usually use the number 5. I'll say list out 5 things that you're grateful for. And I have a subscription called The Unfolding. And actually, that was in the last email they just got, because we talked about being in darkness and trying to get out of darkness. When you're in darkness, it's really hard to go from, I don't want to be in this earth anymore, to let me create and manifest a mansion. Like your frequency is so low that you don't even believe that you're going to create that. You just have to get to baseline. And the way to get to baseline is gratitude. And so is listing out 5 things every morning. And if anyone's like, I don't have anything to be grateful, my life sucks. Where did you sleep that night? Did you have some sort of a bed? That's 1. Did you have a pillow? That's 2. Did you have a blanket? That's 3. Did you have a roof over your head? That's 4. Do you have a t-shirt that you can put in your body? That's 5. Like you just start with the very core basics. And I remember
Yeah.
being there. I remember, like, that's where I started. It was, well, I have clothing I can wear today, and then you add new things every day. And that's will automatically out, even outside of your own control, you will lead towards steps of happiness. It's gonna happen. It's a sure
Mhm.
thing.
So, do you think it's because you're telling your brain that you like have these things to be grateful for, so you should be happy? Or is it more like an optimism type thing? Like, what is really like the mechanism there, I guess, that's helping?
So what's it doing for your brain is it's seeking validation of the positive. So we will
Okay,
seek
yeah.
validation for what we believe. So when you're not, let's say that you are in a low, you're going to, and you're not practicing gratefulness, you're most likely going to keep seeking validation for why you should continue in the low. So this is a brain trick. This is literally like flipping the switch for that bit where you are now finding validation of the good. And that's why adding new things on the list every day is important. As you start to trick your brain, I mean, it's a scientific trick, but like it's a sure thing trick. But what you're doing is you're pausing for those moments to like switch over to the other side. And then you start to seek validation. You find validation, you're getting that pattern. Now you're going to start to see more of the good of what's happening in your life, even outside of what's on your list. And that gets you to baseline. And then from baseline is where you can start, actually actively trying to manifest.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And you kind of talked about it before, like how if you're in a really bad space, like how are you going to believe that you can have this mansion or, I mean, fill in the blank, whatever somebody might want. So starting with gratitude, and I think it was a TikTok I was watching of yours about like affirmations not being like I'm if you don't believe that you're beautiful, you can't be saying like I'm beautiful. So
Yeah.
for somebody who wants to like, okay, I'm starting to believe what Giselle's saying, like I want to start practicing this, and one of the best things I can do is affirmations because that is an easy thing to do. You're brushing your teeth in the morning, looking at yourself. So, how does somebody create an affirmation if they, let's say that they do not feel like they are worthy, or um, they don't have the credibility for like a new job and they feel like they're not worthy of it or whatever it may be? Is that an example you can work with?
Yeah, I love how you brought this up because you can go on Google and find a million different affirmations, but the truth is, based on the
Hmm.
science and the research, it is not going to work unless there's two things that come into play. One is you actually believe what you are saying. So you have to believe it. And the
Right.
second one, if you can't find anything that you believe that you want to actually do, is affirming things about yourself that you do like. Those are the two different kinds of affirmations that work. And again, you're starting from wherever you're starting. So, if, for example, going with the work, let's say that I hate my job and I want to get I want to get a better position, or yeah, let's say I'm trying to get another position instead. Well, that I know to be true. I am someone who is seeking a better position for herself. Like that is something I know to be true. That can be my affirmation. I am someone who is seeking a better position for herself. You could stop it right there if you don't believe that you actually will get the other position. So if you don't think you're going to actually get the position, that's okay. Just stop it there. You are someone who is seeking to find a better position, and that's going to motivate you enough to keep going. And then the second is choose something you like about yourself. Anything. Like I'm someone who is ambitious, because you're someone who's seeking a better position for yourself. So I am someone who is seeking a better position for herself, and I am someone who is ambitious. And you start from what you can believe, and you're going to find you reach that next level, and you're like, boom, I have more confidence now. I have more self belief. And then your affirmations keep shifting and changing as your belief system starts to increase.
Yeah, awesome. That makes sense. So I think a couple things. I just posted a video, or I'm sorry, a podcast, and we talked about body neutrality and not being like so body positive about yourself sometimes, but being more neutral. And I think that's another way to like kind of point to that, like being more realistic. Like it'd be amazing if you thought that you were the most beautiful person in the world, but maybe that's not the case right now. Or you know that you're not the happiest person in the world. I'm not going to say I'm happy and successful and whatever, but having like more of a neutral stance, I feel like that's applicable to this too. Like what you said, I am looking for a new job. Like that is true. So I think we're touching on a lot of things, and I kind of like that we're going through a lot of these. So mindfulness and meditation, gratitude lists, and affirmations. So the next thing would be, I want to talk about how you came up with the mindset of creating instead of manifesting. Do you like to say, because I know you use them interchangeably, do you use manifesting because people know what you mean, or because you kind of still, yeah, okay. So where
Yeah.
did that like creating come into play? Like why did you decide that that's a better way to look at it and help people?
That was one of the downloads I got in that 3 weeks of meditation. Manifestation is the result of what you create. And manifestation is the literally the unfolding of what you already created. But what you did before you saw that manifestation was create. You created with your thought what it is that you would like to see manifest. And that brings it to the greater picture of you're doing that all the time. Because when you only use the word manifestation, I want to manifest this, and I want to manifest this, and I want my manifest whatever thing, it's almost like you forget you're actually doing that all day, all the time. And so, where are your thoughts? Where are your thoughts? What are you actually creating when you're not aware of it? Because you're just thinking about, I want to manifest this house or whatever thing. And instead, my work and what I know that I am to be doing is not party tricks. It's not like, let me teach you how to manifest your ex back, or let me teach you how to manifest this thing. It's not that. is what is your everyday life looking like? And how are you feeling? How are you feeling within your everyday life? Have you claimed your divinity? Have you remembrance of who you are? Are you using these tools to bring you to your greatness on a daily basis and creating from abundance? So that's where my message is more, as opposed to like, let me, teach you how to like get this dopamine of this one thing that you manifest. What about if your life looked like that all the time? And the way to do that is being very, very aware that you are creating every single time. And whatever's happening in your physical realm, those are your manifestations. Those are the things that you already created prior, and they're just showing up in your life, good, bad, or indifference, all of them, not just the good things.
Right. Yeah, that's really important. And I think too it's important to note that there's such a big intersection between like the brain and science and spirituality, and I think a lot of people can better understand how much power they have over things and how attainable this is to them regardless of what they might believe in, because I know a lot of people say like God, source, light, I don't know what all of these words because you can kind of apply it. So like what you said earlier about like the indoctrination of it. So I think it's more the idea that we all came from something. So I think um kind of intertwining those two and then believing that every single thing that you are saying, thinking, doing is manifesting. I think that's all very, I'm trying to think of the word approachable, kind of like it makes more sense. It makes sense to me, and it's not so woo woo when you realize like you're doing it every day and it can apply to whatever you believe in. Something came, we came from somewhere. My thoughts are everywhere because I have so many things that just came to mind. But so what I was going to say too is happiness. So if you are like trying to manifest something, the happiness will come first. So, and I think that a lot of people don't, or maybe not, whatever you think, but I think you can't think, okay, I'll be happy when, or figure out like, okay, this is how I'm going to get to this thing. Like, I'm not going to be happy until I'm seeing XYZ happen. Like, I'm not going to be happy until I find the right realtor, and then the realtor finds me the house, and then I find the house. Like, you need to find the happiness in every single moment and then speak that into like just say positive things and happy things and whatever. So how do you help people, or what would you say if somebody felt like they can't get the happy until they're at this final destination, or what they're really wanting in life?
Yeah. Well, the reality is you take yourself into your manifestation, and whatever that baseline is. So, yeah, you can still figure out a way to manifest some grandeur thing that you like, but if you didn't come into it with happiness, you're coming into it in the same way that you feel right now. So it's just going to be you, the same exact you, but now with whatever thing that you just manifested, it's not going to actually be the thing that makes you happy, because the happiness comes within. So you have to first be content, satisfied, making little steps towards happiness, and being in the now of just feeling I am whole and complete as I am. Because you're taking you wherever it is that you unfold into your reality. The other thing is, we are creators. So, meaning it is not about what you create, it is about the fact that as a creator, you need to be in creativity. You need to be creating a journey for yourself all the time. It's ingrained in you. Stagnation goes against everything that you are as a human being. So, you must constantly be creating something. So it is part of it. That's why it's never the destination. It is always about the journey. But your core base is to live in your happiness right now, in the happiness. So there's two things: is who you are and just living in contentment and happiness and any other feel good emotion. Because wherever you are, you're going to land in the same way. And then the creations just run in the background, because that's why things change all the time. Wherever you are and you're like, this is